It's a night to enjoy. Thank you very much.
I've made plenty of mistakes, but I've also learned plenty.
1 minute to wear.
I haven't figured out yet if I'm very smart or very stupid. Skinny tie for a skinny guy. I think it's a bit of both.
Good evening and welcome to the City West Hotel here in Dublin for this year's Vodafone GAA All-Stars show.
Footballer of the Year for 2009 is from Kerry, Paul Galvin.
What an amazing turnabout. Suspended for most of last year when he was Kerry's captain. He's come back, set the record straight and made amends for the folly of last year. The Footballer of the Year for 2009, Paul Galvin from Kerry.
After what happened last year, I know you're determined anyway. Were you particularly determined this year to make everything right?
Yeah, I had to do something anyway. You know, it was time to kind of grow up a bit, I suppose, and start playing a bit of football. So thankfully, I managed to do that.
You did more than something. What a terrific year.
People are so busy talking about me being a troublemaker. I've been 6 years playing. I've been in 6 All-Ireland finals. I've won 4. I won Footballer of the Year last year. Let them talk away. Like, you understand? It suits me fine that people talk that way. Like. When I started 2009, I just wrote down some of my goals for the year. Like, obviously the main one was to win the All-Ireland, but I also wrote down to win an All-Star and to win Player of the Year. So it was a reminder in my phone every month. It used to go off on the 29th of every month that this year, that they were my goals for the year. So I just kept focusing me every now and again. To do all 3 in the year, considering what happened in 2008, just gave me a good sense of satisfaction, you know?
Kerry football captain Paul Galvin is set to miss the entire championship season if a proposed 6-month suspension is upheld. The ban follows his sending off against Clare at the weekend.
Kerry today received the news they possibly expected but didn't want to think about. It comes in the back of these scenes from Killarney at the weekend, where he appeared to knock the notebook from the hands of referee Paddy Russell. It was Galvin's first championship game as captain of the reigning All-Ireland champions.
Perception, you see, is very powerful, like, and once that perception is made, it's very hard to break, you know. Like, so I've been perceived to be a certain way, like, and that's all people will ever see. There's a whole other side to the game then that people don't see, like, you know, and you've got a family and you've got a job to go to, and you know, you're on the front of the papers for all the wrong reasons, and you're getting sent off, and there's only so much of that you can take, you know, where you just think, you know what, this isn't enjoyable at all. Why am I doing this? If I can get through this year unscathed, I can't look any further ahead than the next couple of months. Like, that's, unfortunately, that's the reality. Like.
Despite his best hopes, the new year brings storm clouds back into Paul's life.
It's crazy. I couldn't begin to try and explain how that ended up on all the front of all the newspapers in Ireland. And how it got there, I'll never know. I'd love to know.
And so, with a new season underway, Kerry travel to play their old blood rivals, Cork. And Paul Galvin is where he vowed not to be, in the news, again. Will Kerry fans be seeing the Galvin who was Villain of the Year in 2008, or the Galvin who was Player of the Year 12 months later? The version they get in 2010 will determine how their season unfolds.
Paul Galvin still perhaps in a school teacher type way, offering young Owen Cadigan some advice. And 2 red cards. Paul Galvin cannot believe this.
I was reported for striking. I didn't strike anybody. The guy on the other side, on the Cork side, got reported for striking as well. I mean, he didn't strike me either. Like 2 red cards somehow, and a 2-month suspension. You watch the video of that game, you can see clearly before that incident, Donaghy and Dunican both tackle him. He gets a bang in the mouth, he holds his mouth. A couple of minutes later, there's a doctor on the field treating him for a mouth injury, and the inference is there that it was me. He was treated for his tooth long before that happened.
Paul Galvin has a glum look on his face tonight.
In the disciplinary hearing, however, the defence fails to swing the verdict. Paul Galvin will miss the next 2 months of the season. A familiar solitude descends.
I actually thought I behaved very irresponsibly in Cork the other night. I tried to just get him off me as quickly as I could and just get away from the situation, like, because here I am now, 30 years old, in front of the stand in Park in February in a league game, like, and here I'm on the ground grappling with a guy, like, so I'm just like, straight away, the minute it happened, I was like, oh no, like, I don't know, I do not need this to be happening, no, like. So I was trying to get away from it as quickly as I could. I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to keep it on the straight and narrow, you know. I'm at a stage now where I'm looking at people batting for me in papers and batting for me on radio, and you hate to think you're compromising people, like, you know, Jack O'Connor or Eamon Fitzmaurice, who was one of my best friends who was a selector, like, the supporters, my teammates, like, you know, they're all sick of it, like, I'm sick of it.
Life goes on though, and Paul's life has its own distinct rhythm. He's a dedicated follower of fashion.
This is the shoot I styled for Tatler Men's issue. It's the first edition of Tatler for Men. They asked me to do a shoot with them, you know, so I said I'd do it if I could style it myself. So they allowed me to. It was cool, it was good fun. Just 5 different looks that I put together that I would wear now and again. I mean, this one, I had the suit, but I changed the trousers just because I thought it would work better, because I didn't like the trousers that were with the suit. So just changed it up, and it did work very well. I'm getting into bow ties now these days. They're all in, you know, so I had to get one. I saw one on Kanye West recently at an event in New York or somewhere. I thought it looked smart. I wore one to a wedding now last weekend. No one else is wearing them, so it was good fun. I enjoyed it, and I'd like to do more of it if I could, you know. But it was an easy shoot. Like to style something like that is easy because I know what my style is and what I wanted to wear. But then to be a stylist for somebody else, an individual or a brand, you know, that's a bit more difficult, like. But for down in Kerry playing football, you're not going to be able to get enough regular work, I don't think, to earn a living and play football, you know. So, I mean, if you wanted to get involved in fashion, you need to be at least in Dublin, if not in London or New York, if you were serious about it.
Whenever you're ready, Paul.
I'd know from the night before what I want to wear. So I'd go to bed, like I'd be in bed and I'd be thinking about what I'd wear tomorrow before I go to sleep. I was coming up in the summertime now, and obviously I'm not teaching, and there's a big game coming up. Like, I hit the shops, so I might get into the car and head for Limerick or head for Cork, or even maybe get a flight to Dublin the odd time and just hit the shops. I'd get lost, yeah. I'd go into a shop and I'd forget about everything. I have lots of pairs of shoes. I'm actually going to give some to charity, you know. I've got like, I must have like 60, 70 pairs. Down around Kerry, you see people looking at you. You know, you walk down the street and you see people looking at you up and down, like. And it's a bit uncomfortable, like. But I've never had anybody pass any really bad comment or anything like that, you know. But I don't take any. I don't really care. Honestly, I don't really care. It's a hobby, like, you know. I wouldn't be into the golf or big into sitting in front of the TV either. Like, I find it hard to remain sitting in front of a TV and relax like that. So that's what I do.
He also does football. Paul's suspension expires with the welcome arrival of spring. His return is scheduled for a perfect stage.
It's a beautiful day now, and I love playing in Killarney. I was just driving down through the town there now, and it feels like a championship day. You see a few supporters around, and the cones are out up by the stadium. It always gives me a good buzz. It's my first game back since that sending off, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's good to be back. I can't wait to get down there now and get in amongst the lads again. They're my favourite boots, plus they're gold. Go with the jersey. No, that's me ready to go, boys. I'm in a situation now where I've had a 2-month suspension. If I get another one, it's my year over, like, I'll get 4 months, like, you know. So I'm now in a situation where I'm really dependent on the integrity of opponents, like, and the integrity of other teams, you know. Because if you go by what happened in Cork, where a guy runs at me, jumps on me, pulls me to the ground, 2 of us get a red card, I mean, what's to stop the next guy doing it in June or July? Hitting the deck beside me, the referee puts 2 and 2 together and gets 5, and off I go, like, and my year is finished, you know.
Both teams celebrated at the full-time whistle after All-Ireland champions Kerry defeated Monaghan, with returning Paul Galvin kicking 3 points from play, but both sides remain in Division 1. After it finished, Kerry 1 goal and 16 points, Monaghan 1 goal and 12 points.
My home place is a place called Ballinclare. That's where I grew up. It's part of the Lixnaw parish, which is quite a big parish up in North Kerry. North Kerry is a hurling area. You know, there is bits of football. Like, I went to school in Lixnaw, started playing hurling in Lixnaw when I was young. You know, formed a real bond with all those fellas. Like, I feel it's kind of part of me. You'd have to see a game really around here to know what it's like. The pride people have in their hurling and their clubs, like, it's huge, like. Did you burn and eat your heart out?
Summer arrives, so too does the championship. Kerry's first outing is against Tipperary.
Kerry beginning the defence of their All-Ireland crown. Cork, the provincial champions, and they await the winners of this quarter-final. Foot pass in, the marking is absolutely awful on Donaghy. One way then the other, Kieran Donaghy with the opening point of this Munster Football Championship quarter-final. Sullivan to Cooper. Cooper getting out in front of Paddy Codd more and more, and Kerry in here. Paul Galvin steadies down, and another point for Kerry, and that was so easy. Killian Young using the breeze in towards Donaghy, can't hold on to it, but Donegal Walsh working off him. It's a simple game and it's played that way. So Kerry now make their substitutions. Last year's captain Darren O'Sullivan on for Paul Galvin.
Yeah, I'm very surprised at Galvin being taken off. He's worked very, very hard throughout the game, got 2 good points early on, has been foraging right up and down the field.
Well, that's for Donaghy. That is magnificent. Beautiful finish. And Kerry have just put on an exhibition. Jack O'Connor can now start planning for Cork.
Yeah, I was disappointed, of course. I was very annoyed, actually. I mean, there was a good bit left in the game. Maybe once before I was taken off and I showed it. Well, twice maybe. And I showed it and Jack wasn't happy about it, so I was very conscious of not doing anything. Jack says something to you, you have to listen, like. I've had arguments with him and discussions with him, but like, I'd be left licking my wounds, like. You know, he wouldn't think twice. If it was the right thing to do, he wouldn't think twice, like. He'd drop me, like.
And we look ahead at what to expect in football on summer. Hello and very welcome to the programme. Well, there's lots to get through here on
the Munster games, to me, like in the last few years, have just been a pain in the arse, like. They're strange kind of games, like. Some of the games in Cork have been out the gap, like, and you know we've been struggling against them, and fuck it, like, you just want to get out of there. It's still a very strong rivalry, and they're coming down to Killarney this year, you know. Like they were in Killarney last year and drew with us, like, and we certainly wouldn't want them to beat us in Killarney, like.
I'll go for Kildare. For Leinster, I think the All-Ireland's a bit easier to predict, and for me at the minute there's only one show in town, and that's Cork.
Yeah, snap.
Kevin, do you agree?
Yeah, I do agree with them. They just have to beat Kerry at some stage when there isn't a safety net involved.
I don't know what this obsession with Cork and winning All-Irelands is like. If they're good enough to win it, they'd have won one by now. I'm getting sick of it, like. You'd swear that they were the team to beat us in the final last year, like. Tyrone are a great team. Kerry are a great team. But I don't think any team, until a team goes and win a couple of All-Irelands, you can call them a great team, like. I mean, they've lost 2 All-Irelands, like. I've lost 2 All-Irelands. We'll see, like. We'll see if they're good enough to win one. If they're good enough, they'll win it.
In any football summer, Kerry playing Cork and Killarney is essential viewing. This year, though, Kerry are champions and Cork, as the pretenders, are running out of time. And so it really hurts when injury keeps Paul out of the starting 15.
I think the loss of Paul Galvin, even though he's flying here in the warm-up behind us, I think his loss is almost incalculable.
I think it's not until you hear the team name that you realise you're not in. Like, you know, I was actually very disappointed that night. You know, you just get so used to playing in big games, and it was tough. It was tough.
The battle of the champions. Munster and League champions against the All-Ireland champions.
I was very edgy watching the game. Just powerless, like, and you could see things, and you could see the whole pitch, and you could see things happening, and it was tough.
Here's Kieran Donaghy, lays it back to O'Sullivan. Oh, classy. Good ball in, clears the coach. They've got to watch his left foot. Here it comes, there's a point. Kerry have found their rhythm. Good work here by Paddy Kelly. He's on the 20, heading towards the 13. Onto the left boot, and that is going to raise a white flag. Now that is a real beauty. Let's see what happens in the second half. Kerrigan, there's the dummy inside. He's good from this distance. He hits it well. Michael Shields tries to put it onto the path to Paddy Cassar. And away he goes, chased by Donegal Walsh and Declan O'Sullivan. And he's got it! It could be the time to bring in Paul Galvin. And there's the change. Footballer of the Year, 2009, is being introduced.
Decent sub, no doubt about that.
Can he make a difference? Can he swing this particular Munster Championship clash?
Kerry fans giving me a great reception, but I could also hear the stuff from the Cork fans, like, which was nearly as loud. And I enjoyed that, like, they were booing and that kind of thing, you know, so. And you know, that's fine, like. My approach to it will be very calm, you know. There was much point me coming into that game at that stage and racing around and hopping off fellas, and I knew I had to get on the ball and link from the half-back line and try and release fellas and try and make a few passes, like. I was able to do it, you know.
umpires Anthony Marr. Under pressure, Ned Walsh. Twists and turns. Is this the moment for Kerry? Level for the third time. 69 minutes and 20 seconds. Cork look for a winner. There's nobody leaving Fitzgerald Stadium. Colm Cooper coming in to challenge Paddy Kassan. And the referee has blown his whistle and he's given a free. It's a real test of character to survive and force it perhaps to a replay. Very difficult angle. It's Colm the goal. The referee has blown his whistle. Kerry 15 points, Cork 15 points, and perhaps the fairest result is in fact a draw.
Draws are horrible, like I hate a draw, like it's a big sense of anticlimax, but at the same time I felt we'd made a big statement. I felt good because really like they should have beaten us and they couldn't. I think it's a very important game. If we can win it, it will be very hard to stop for the rest of this year, like. And I think we can beat them down there, you know. I'm not expecting any bouquets, like.
And you're welcome back. Perhaps the most intriguing story of the day on the front page of the Sunday World. Kerry star Galvin set for Expose TV hot seat. We've put out a call to Paul. Unfortunately, he hasn't got back to us as yet, but hopefully he will before the end of the show.
I got missed calls there from Marion Finucane's show, or a researcher, I think, who was looking to speak to me to come on and speak about it. But sure, like, I don't know anything about it, so there's nothing going on. It just seems to be the way with me, though. I'm forever seeing stuff and hearing about stuff in papers that I don't have anything to do with, but stories just seem to come out of nowhere, I don't know. Terrible picture. It's unbelievable, like. It's unbelievable, like. I just don't know where he's getting this from. I'd love to know where he's getting this from, like. Paul Galvin will take over from Sean Monsanji. Geez, that's pissing me off now. Galvin spent most of his time in the capital soaking up his newfound infamy in celeb haunts like Lily's and Crystal. I've been in Lily's once ever, like. I'd say I've been in Crystal fucking 2 or 3 times, like. Over the past 3 years has been regular TV appearances in an attempt to get himself recognised. He's made several appearances on chat shows as his star has risen, including Miriam O'Callaghan's summer show, which I've never been on. That's fucking rubbish. That's what that is now. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world to have in front of the paper, you know what I mean? But I've got responsibilities to carry, you know, and to the players and the team and the management and the team to be focused on football. And say you come along and you don't, which I don't think will happen, but say you came along and you had a game and you didn't play well, like, that's the first thing that'll be thrown at you, you know? Sure, how would he be playing well? He above in Dublin hanging out with whoever, and he going on. That's the way it would be, like, but you're I think it's just lazy journalism, really. We've become a kind of a tabloid nation at this stage. My mother was ringing me. She wants to know what's going on in her son's life. Is it true that you're joining the Expose team? God knows, I put her through the ringer enough now. I'll have to take her out of her misery.
There was one journalist there in one of the papers, like he tore strips off him there, and it's totally out of order altogether. You know, the things he said about him, which was very hurtful, you know. It went on for months, you know, and we had phone calls and live line and whatnot on the phone there to us.
They rang one day, live line, and And I picked up the phone like, and I was talking away to him. Never realised that I was on it yet.
But I said to them, like, yeah, sure, I said, I'm not live on radio, and they said, you are, so that was the end of it.
Ringing here is the one thing that really annoys me, like. I've rang people about it before, like, and I've warned them never to ring my house again, like. That's the one thing that really bugs me, like. This is our first senior, my first county senior at hurling. This is Jamie, my godson. Jamie's going to play with Kerry too. Aren't you?
Yeah.
It's primary school picture, I'd say, infants actually, in the convent. We went to a convent before we went to the boys' school. I think Colin O'Rourke a few years ago wrote in an article that I was no altar boy. And I texted him saying, actually Colin, just to inform you there that I actually was a very good altar boy for a few years in Lixnaw Church. That's the final whistle there, the final last year. Great photo that. I love that photo.
I never thought that we'd ever see an All-Ireland football final, never mind, I never thought that I would attend 6 All-Ireland finals in a row. Do you know, with my son playing, like.
He was kind of skillful from a very early age. He was determined and I think he was going to make it. He was just whatever he done, the hurling or the football, the soccer.
He was inclined to be very small when he was young. Didn't that he's huge now, but you know, a lot of people used to remark about the small little guy. Who was he?
I remember the day I wouldn't eat the dinner in Tralee because he wouldn't buy me the shoes. Remember those runners? I was about 9 or 10 and I wouldn't eat my lunch. Oh look. There are the shoes now that I wanted. I wouldn't eat my dinner over. I went on hunger strike. I don't know what to say about the shirt. She went through a period of hiding stuff on me, You know, I know that, like. She went through a period of hiding stuff from me. Stuff would disappear, like you did. Stuff would disappear, like, because she didn't want me wearing it.
Naturally, I thought you'd have grown them. There are the few items that I really, if I got them, like, I'd burn them.
That's why I moved out.
Paul never moved far from the nest, and the call of the club always brings him home. Injury still hobbles him, however.
I was on the receiving end of a questionable enough tackle in the second half of the Monaghan game. You know, a guy just caught me when my leg was planted. He caught me with a boot in the calf, and I just felt something go. You know. You get into having to go into physio, and you're waiting in the physio's room, and you're getting physio before training and getting strappings, and I really hate that. Like, it's fine, like, if you're a week or two, but if you're like 5 or 6 weeks at it, it really makes me cranky, like. It's something that I hate doing, like. I just don't like to be in the physio room, you know.
To be honest.
Jack will tell us probably tomorrow night. He delayed naming it maybe to see how I'll get on, you know.
I remember watching the 07 final on TV that we played Cork in. I remember at the time trying to chase one of the Cork backs up the field. And the harder I tried to run, the slower I was getting. And he just went away from me, And I remember thinking something's not right here. So I had to break it all back down and start again. When I cut down on the weight, started doing a lot of flexibility work. It made a huge difference to me.
I'm hoping to be in the shake-up now for Sunday.
The drawn game has raised the stakes between Kerry and Cork. Whoever wins today takes the bragging rights and the momentum into the remains of the summer.
This is a major obstacle in our way, like, and you know, probably a bigger game than the All-Ireland final last year. If we could manage to beat them, it would be a major blow to them. Like, it'll be hostile, of course, which that's great. It's a good atmosphere to play in, I must say. I've been quite tired during the week. I trained Wednesday night, but I'd hope to start, yeah.
Why aren't they playing Galvin? He's not injured, threatened, is he?
I know. I'd say that he missed 2 weeks now coming up to it, but right. I know. I would have gone with him. It's a day to be reckless, like Cork. You see all of the eating that Cork are in the driving seat, like.
Yeah.
And if I was picking a team, I'd have made a good few changes.
Yeah, I would too.
Not starting the game took the edge off a little bit, and I was very relaxed. I was looking forward to getting in there.
Time to restart this Munster semi-final. Take 2. Now Walsh has a go from a distance. Hanging in the air again. Horrible one for the goalkeeper. Drops it down and it's in the back of the net. And that should have been defended better. Paddy Kelly once more. Cork hold the ball. Patient. Torment Kerry. Derek O'Connor knifing past 4 players on his left. Great score.
Great score. Oh, great score.
Michael Shields having a go himself, fancying his chances. That is an absolutely sensational kick. And Paul Galvin's on. It's the response to a mini crisis, shall we call it. Galvin required. Now will this be the game changer? Well, he's calling for the ball and he's got it. Like the pantomime villain, they boo him straight away. Well, it's the presence of Galvin or whatever. It certainly lifted the crowd. Again, Kerry hold, but finally they're going to have to shoot it through Sheehan, but it's a magnificent kick.
I was very conscious today that we really had to step up and protect kind of the legacy we've created over the last 10 years, like, because we have created a legacy, and this was a defining day for us in a way. So, you know, we were willing to battle and I was willing to fight, and I really was willing to go to any length to try and get out of here with a win.
Inside towards Colm Cooper, looking for Donaghy. This is a goal chance, and that is a beauty. And now we've got the makings of a brilliant second half. Paddy Kelly trying to sell dummies to Killian Young, trying to keep him out there on the edge. Still a good-looking kick. It's a magnificent point for the Ballincollig player.
I used to be very aggressive and I used to enjoy it. Like, I used to really thrive on that. Like it would be my natural instinct to have a go. Like, if somebody has a go at me, like, I would have a go back. Like.
They've lost it. Play has been turned over. And the player in possession back there is Owen Cadogan. Referee whistling furiously, fingers pointing. Just look at the pictures you're watching at right now. Frustration spilling over. Cadogan, Galvin, central figures in the drama. 45 seconds to play. 1 point the margin. O'Shea's in. O'Shea's kick, and he's drawn the game level. And the referee has blown his whistle, and we are heading for extra time. Paul Galvin came on and lifted, inspired Kerry.
I just felt really confident, like, in that if we were within any few points of them at all in the second half, I thought we'd do them, you know.
Galvin has it again, just taking the game and exerting complete control. Cooper again, into Donaghy, given space. Cadogan slow to get to him. Barry John Keane strikes and puts it between the post and over the bar. It's advantage Kerry and 10 minutes left. But it's about Galvin right now. He absolutely loves playing against Cork. Get that feeling.
They have their way of doing things, like, it's not probably the way I would go about doing things on the field, you know, at times.
They know that I've got a bit of a short fuse, I suppose. It was a great battle, and they're the kind of games I love, like.
Colm Cooper, 19 minutes into extra time, he kicks and he puts it over the bar. And Kerry beat Cork once again. Galvin superb. What did you make of it?
Well, in the end, I have to say the best team won it. Galvin was huge.
So Kerry claim a rare win on Cork turf at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Paul has returned in triumph, but it's only hours before the sirens and the flashing blue lights herald bad news.
We got a lot of texts and emails about the next incident, and Paul Galvin, who you said was hugely influential in the match and in turning it Kerry's way, but he was involved in an incident again that was picked up by the cameras.
Yes, unfortunately, what he does here is just totally unacceptable, and this is one of the things you do not do to another player on a football pitch. I would love watching Paul Galvin play football. I love what he brings to the Kerry thing. I love his aggression. I love the way he can win the ball and drive his team on, but things like that, there's just no place for that in the game.
I'm completely brain dead to go and do what I did. My hand was here and he was having a shout in my face, shouting something in my face, and I was, you know, just stupid. Like, I fucking stuck my finger in his mouth. It was a complete defence mechanism. Like,
based on what you say, is Paul Galvin nominated for man of the match, Anthony?
Ordinarily, he would for his contribution in a football sense, but the man of the match should be about celebration as well of the quality of the player involved, and you do that sort of thing. I don't think he should be a contender for man of the match.
I didn't see the Sunday game. I watched, honestly, on a Sunday night at 9:30 I'm watching The City on MTV. I don't watch the Sunday game, so I still haven't seen what was said or what wasn't said, and I've no notion. Like, I've no notion of going looking at it to see who said what. Like, there's 3 or 4 of them on the Sunday game that you can throw a blanket over. Like, 2 All-Ireland medals between them all. Like, Spillane is a legend. Like, Colm O'Rourke I respect, but there's other lads there. Like, and I'm just going, why would I be bothered about what some of those fellas think about me?
And good morning, Cathal. We're going to start with Gaelic games and this Paul Galvin ban. But I know there's a big finger of blame being pointed by people in Kerry at the Sunday game.
Paul Galvin, the 2009 Footballer of the Year, back in the bad books after he appeared to make contact with his opponent's face.
Do you think Paul Galvin is a good boy? What about the shenanigans he gets up to on occasion?
You know, he broke the rules a few times and he paid the price. But he's amazingly quiet this time.
Very quiet. We rang his house last night, asked him to come down. He won't come near us.
No, he's on retreat.
He's on retreat with the monks.
Not on retreat, but observing a vow of silence. In the eye of the storm, Paul is holed up in a Dublin hotel, waiting to fulfil a commitment to a photo shoot for a children's charity.
I feel stupid over it, like, and I feel bad for the boys because they're looking at me, I'm sure, going, Jesus Christ, you know. Paul again, like, there's only so much that a team can take and a teammate can take, like, without getting annoyed about it, like. I started getting calls and texts, like, my phone's been crazy, like, for the last few days, you know, and I just ignore it all, just switch off from it, like. You know, I'm at a loss sometimes at the way the stuff in the press gets blown out of proportion, like, and it seems to me when it's involving me, like, the press just go crazy in it, like, and the coverage has been crazy, like, you know, it's been on the news, it's been on political TV shows and all over the papers, like front page and back page, and you know, I just leave it wash off me, to be honest with you. I don't look at the papers, I don't buy them. If you were bothered about what people are writing about you in a paper, like, you'd end up in a box, like. I don't think there's any point defending it because you can't defend it. You know, if I was wrong, I'm wrong. I was just pissed off with the guy. He was the same guy that I was sent off with in February, like. And I still was really annoyed about that whole incident, like, and the suspension that followed it, and some of the stuff that came out of the Cork camp subsequent to that incident, you know, really annoyed me, like. Silly of me, like, but it's done now. I'd be very honest with myself, like, and I'd look at myself in the mirror, and you know, I know deep down, like, that stuff isn't acceptable, like, and I shouldn't be carrying on like that, and. You know, that's all that's important to me, like, that I can be honest with myself, like, and try and eradicate that kind of stuff. I wouldn't walk away, like, over something like this, no way. I think we'll win the All-Ireland anyway. I've no notion of walking out in All-Ireland middle, like.
Let's have a little look at you now.
I got asked to take part in this book for charity for the ISPCC.
And then back into me a wee bit. Great, keep it there.
Dizzy Rascal, who I'm a big fan of, is there. He's a rapper, and I think Bono is there, and Colin Farrell, and Brian O'Driscoll.
Nice
so
one.
Don't mind being in the mix with these guys.
Nice one. Great shot again. You got it. Perfect. Keep it all there for me. Good again. Lovely, on a 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Beautiful, again.
Yeah, it was good fun.
Again, 1, 2, 3.
It's a different experience in Croke Park for me than the usual. But your man, like Barry's obviously very good at what he does. Like,
In reality's sake, we'll probably hear it, I'll show you.
That's a deadly one, isn't it? That looks really good, yeah.
Next time I'm back here, hopefully it'll be an Ireland semi-final. Or maybe the quarter-final will go to a draw and it'll be the replay for the quarter-final. So, yeah, it's a pity, but sure. We'll be back here alright, though, I'm fairly sure of that, you know.
A teenage
Nothing isn't there. I'm suspended for the third summer in a row, like, do you know? Like, that's the issue for me, like.
By the 4th of July, Paul has escaped to the tranquility of his favourite city. Just another face on the teeming streets.
Being in New York, like, is strange, like, it's strange. I'm asking myself, like, how am I here, like, and not in Killarney? I'm about to go watch Kerry play a Munster final that I should be playing in downtown Manhattan, like. Why am I here? It'll be hard, like, you know.
1896 is a long, long time ago. That was the year Limerick last won the Munster Senior Football Championship. They've won the toss. They're playing with a very strong breeze. Limerick go into the attack immediately. Here comes John Galvin. He's gone straight through, and there's the point. What a start. Kerry under a little bit of pressure. It's Limerick again. Gathered initially by James O'Donovan. You have to be impressed. You're looking at the Division 4 champions, and they're rattling the All-Ireland champions' cage. Second half of the Munster football final is underway. Seamus Scanlon robbed by John Galvin. It has to be a goal. It is!
Fuck's sake.
Galvin is inspiring the people of Limerick. Kerry have it. Chance for the Gooch. He rarely misses.
Oh God.
Pumping it through to David Moore, and there's a chance here, and it's another point. Goes for the return.
Once more.
Oh, what an athlete. Now, he deserves to finish this. And he does. The Kerry men are celebrating. The referee has blown his whistle. And Kerry are the Munster champions.
Oh, it was tough watching it. No, like, it was just a very surreal experience to be sitting there in a bar on 3rd Avenue, watching the boys, like, and I'm training all year with the boys. They could have lost the game, like. I knew it was going to be a dangerous game, like, you know, and we were nearly caught. I just couldn't think clearly at home while I was at home for the last 2 weeks. I just couldn't focus, like, on what was what. To have the whole place in Kerry and in Ireland, you know, you're coming up to you and talking to you and asking you, and it just gets, you just get tired of it, you know. There was a lot of speculation in papers regarding, was I going to quit? Were Kerry players going to boycott Ireland? Are the Kerry players going to boycott RT? Are the Kerry management going to boycott RT? Do you know, like, and I'm here in the middle of it, just going, do you know? Last night having dinner, like, down the meatpacking district, I just felt right. This is how it is, like, for me. You know, let others be losing the run themselves or whatever. I have to try and find my balance, like, and keep things on an even keel. I love New York. Brilliant place, like, brilliant people, you know, I love the energy here. You know, you can be who you want to be, like. There's always somebody that looks a bit funnier or looks a bit mad or dresses a bit more crazy, you know, so it is a place where you can just get lost, like, and I love that about it. I'm going to go down to Jay-Z now. He wants to meet me for a drink down his club, so we'll go down and see what he's got to say.
Kerry have marched on, and Paul has returned home. He's still suspended for one more game, the All-Ireland quarter-final against Down. Paul drums his fingers, anxious to return.
I just had this bad feeling. It was very eerie in the dressing room. Crow Park was half empty when we went out, and it just felt like one of those days that I didn't like the feeling, you know. I just felt very uneasy. We looked leggy from an early stage, like, and they looked to be very, very vibrant, and I knew it was gone really at half time, you know. So I'm still very shocked, like, just kind of a numb feeling, you know. You know, you feel like a bit of a prick, like, and it's... If my teammates felt like I'd left them down, then it'd be hard to blame them, you know. If Jack felt that way, it'd be hard to blame him. I'm just tired, and I don't know, I'm just trying to get, you know, it's disappointing, like, it's sad, it's just, I'm sure it is what it is now, it's over, like, and that's it, year over. You just have to get on with it, like.
The summer brings still more upheaval. Some of Paul's old ways have lost their charm, and there's no avoiding another big decision.
I started getting calls yesterday from a local paper wondering if I had any update on my job situation, in inverted commas, right? So I didn't answer the call, and a text comes through then from a local journalist who I've never met in my life. Paul, any update on your job situation, like, you know? And then I don't reply, and the one goes and contacts my old boss, like, wondering what's the situation, you know? Did he leave or was he fired, like, you know? Do you know, I have a major issue with that, like. That this person thinks he can contact me, like, and think that I'll be there, like, on the phone. Oh, like, yeah, I'll come here to me, like, let's meet, like, and I can tell you some more details about my personal life there as well, you know? Do you know, I resent that. I resent that, like.
Lads, we're very sloppy, lads. That nearly cost us the game the last day, Colin. Same thing nearly cost us the game. You got to finish when you get in there.
I've left the job, like, to go do something else. You know what something else is, I don't know.
There's some examples of the work rate. We put on serious pressure around the middle as well, lads. Made some serious tackles in the game, which is good to see as well. So from that point of view, we did well.
I just felt like I didn't fit in at all, you know, that kind of way. Like, I'd come in wearing stuff, like, and I could see them looking at me, like, both staff and students would be looking at me going.
Got an extra man now, Kieran, where are you? Come on, let's move it, let's use it.
You know, people were telling me, oh, geez, you know, you left the job, like, and you had a safe, secure job. The job was boring to me, like, so I left it.
Come out of the corner. Change it, Jeff. Change it out of the corner.
I struggle with kind of, what would you say, like, constraints or, like, you know, rules and regulations and all that, like. The bell and the timetable and books and classrooms, and it was just very rigid, and, you know, I'm quite a creative person, actually.
Who's playing off him? Well done, Jeff. Well done, Jeff. Finish. Great score, great score.
Like, you have to take a risk in our life, like, and I'm probably taking a bit of a risk, like, but sure, great things are happening. You know, life is amazing, life out there to live, like.
Paul Galvin on Radio Kerry.
Hi and welcome to Radio Kerry. I'm Paul Galvin and I'm here for the next hour on this bank holiday weekend. where I get a chance to play some of my favourite music for you people of Kerry. I hope you like it. If you're going out tonight, I hope some of this stuff puts you in the mood to dance. I know it really puts me in the mood to dance, and it's just some of the stuff that I play a lot on my iPod, maybe before games and that. First song is from a guy that I really like, it's Jay-Z, and he's going to go down with the Sinatras and the Michael Jacksons and the Elvises for my money. Great beat to this one, makes you want to dance. This is A Star Is Born from Jay-Z. Just a special one after the moment, yeah. Like music, anything to do with music, I love, so it's just a chance to talk about it to me, really. The next song up is from Biffy Clyro. It's about the fact that everybody has a good side and a bad side and a dark side and a nice side, and you know, I listen to quite a lot in the song. I can relate to quite a lot. So this is God and Satan from Biffy Clyro.
I talk to God as much as I talk to Satan, cause I want to hear both sides. Does that make me cynical? There are no miracles, and this is no miraculous life. I savor hate as much as I crave love, because I'm just a twisted guy. Is this the pinnacle? Is this the pinnacle? The pinnacle of being alive?
And so, for the first time in 6 years, Paul has other things to do on the 3rd Sunday of September. Dublin has no gravity for him.
The All-Ireland final today. Yeah. Cork and down today, so it was tough enough. It was a funny week actually building up to this weekend, because this day every year for 6 years we've been up in Dublin. Yesterday we would have been on the way to Dublin, you know, for the final, and round about now we'd be having team meetings and meals, pre-match meals and that. So it was like a habit in the end, you know. The way I see it, Cork will probably win it. Wouldn't surprise me if they don't.
It's North versus South, down against Cork.
Down were good in the first half. Cork looked ordinary in the first half.
Scoring chance here, might even be a goal chance. Oh, it's up and it's over the bar, and it's a great start to this match for Down.
I had a stag. My buddy Stag was on, so I had to leave.
As we head towards half-time, Donnacha O'Connor, who scored from a free, has scored now from play and makes it 8 points to 5.
They reeled them in a bit just before half-time, I remembered, and went in with 2 or 3 points down. I knew then they'd win it.
Donnacha O'Connor racing after it. Well, he's going for the point. If he makes it, it's an amazing point. It's a wonderful point.
No disrespect to Down, but I just think, you know, if Cork hadn't won that, they had to win it.
And it's all over, and Cork are the All-Ireland football champions for 2010. Celebrations all around.
I came down the hill, you know, to the bar where the boys were having the stag. 3 of them standing outside the door. I said, geez, there must have been a row here, like. One fella's like this on the windowsill. Another fella's staring into space. The third boy Gus is standing there talking to himself. I was like, geez, what's after happening here? So I come down the hill anyway, and I'm looking, I says, lads, what's up? Boys are like, fucking Cork. I look in the window, Cork are about to lift the Sam Dahl, the boys left. The boys left, they couldn't watch it.
Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
The year has brought its trials and its troubles. Nothing better in the end than bringing it all back home. Local heroes are forever.
Please stand to attention for our Navian.
This day last year, yeah, I was at the All-Star Zone, then All-Star and Player of the Year. Long time ago. Big difference now between today and last year. It's been a messy all year. It's been a shitty year, really. But sure, that's the way of it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it was just a tough year. It was a messy year, like. But you know, I'm never one to dwell too long and stuff like that. You know, you just have to crack on. Like, I have a life to live, and I have maybe a career to sort out. I'd ring in the new year now if I could, you know. I'm just mad to get on with things and get on with my life and get busy living.
Well, from a sports star to one of